So today in our workshop, we will be covering the family app and some settings within Seesaw. We're going to talk about your organization with folders, and I've got planned for us to talk about how you give feedback to your students, choice boards, and then questions and resources. I also, if I can make it work, I also kind of want to look at some of the things that worked well in your Seesaw classroom and things that you want to change and maybe help you on your journey right now within Seesaw. So I'm just going to take a minute here and start reading some of the things that are in chat, and then we'll get started. Janelle, I just put in the chat the link to the sign-in sheet and then also the slide deck. And if you want to make sure you get your PD hour for today's session, make sure you do fill out that sign-in sheet. That is what the ROE 17 will go off of. And if you have trouble with that sign-in sheet, feel free to stay on after and I will help you get that filled out. All right, so it looks like we've got a wide variety here with us. We've got some new users. We have some teachers who have used Seesaw before and are continuing to use it during this time, whether you are full remote or you've got a hybrid model at your school. Three things that I picked up from the chat was someone wanting to know how to make Seesaw interactive with students, how you can create your own lessons, and how to use Teachers Pay Teachers. So I will tell you the Teachers Pay Teachers part, I have actually never used that website because I try to find free resources out there. So maybe if someone else has used Teachers Pay Teachers, how you've incorporated that in Seesaw, or maybe if you have time, I forget who asked that, Rachel, I think asked that we can maybe troubleshoot and take a look at that at the end of the workshop as well. So I'm just going to jump through a few of these slides here. Slide 5 and 6 is a little bit about myself and the Learning Technology Center. And slide 7 is our mission. So some of you have been on a workshop with me before. If you haven't, feel free to go back and take a look at that. I did throw this slide back in there here on slide 8 about the average attention span. And I feel like this is important, and I always need this reminder when I'm working with students that, hey, their average attention span for, working on something is, shorter than what I would think at times. So I try to keep that visual whenever I'm working with students and even adults. We need brain breaks at times. So always keep that in mind. So first I'm going to, Kathy, I see your question in chat. It doesn't recognize your school. Your school, there might be another option for other. If not, if you don't mind staying on after, and we'll try to get that troubleshooted so that we can make sure you get signed in and get your PD hours.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to jump in and start talking about the family app, that this is a great resource to communicate with families. I know some of you have been used to using different apps out there, maybe Class Dojo or other apps out there to communicate with the parents. But here, this is all housed within the Seesaw app. And with the Seesaw app, there's two different apps. So there is a family app and a class app. And the difference here between the two, the class app is what the students are going to use to interact with you, to complete activities and turn in those activities to you. The family app, this is where you will have announcements or messages pushed out to the parents. So on slide 11 and 12, kind of just reiterates what the difference between the two are. And, you know, feel free to push some of the stuff out when you're dealing with parents and trying to educate them on the difference between those two apps as well. And I think some of this just came from the Seesaw website. It's there as well. One thing with families, they will only see their child's work. They won't see any other child's work in the class. It's just their own, so they don't need to worry about that. And what I liked about the family app is that, you know, especially for kids who come from families that are separated, you can have up to 10 family members be connected to one child. So whether it's aunts or uncles, grandparents, stepmoms, stepdads, whatever it may be, you can connect them all so that they can see their child's journal in Seesaw. And then here's another thing that's nice that Seesaw has pushed out is that it can be translated into 50+ languages automatically. So, you know, if the child's coming from a home where they primarily speak Spanish, the journal can be translated into, and the messages can be translated into Spanish. It does have to make sure that they do have it in their native language. So if their native language is Spanish, make sure that that is turned on their device. Another thing here, families can in turn then message you back, and then they can also add attachments to the messages of using the 6+ tools within Seesaw. So if I switch over to my family app, let me do that here. So with the family app here, you can see in the upper left-hand corner that it shows my name, and this is the family app. If I go to home, I pulled this up with the Google Chrome web browser, but I can pull it up using the Seesaw family app if I would like. I can get it in the App Store or the Google Play, and this will only work on an iPad or a phone, and the family app will not work on a computer. So that's why, since I'm on the computer, I'm pulling this up here, the family website here on the Google Chrome web browser. And right here on the Home tab, I am seeing Blake's work that he has completed and turned in. So again, as a family member, I am only seeing my own child's work. Now, what if I have multiple children, or I have children who have multiple classes? So right here, I've got in the bottom left-hand corner of each entry here, each activity, this shows that this is Blake's from the demo class. This is Blake's from the pre-K class. So if I keep scrolling, it'll just show the difference there in the bottom left. If I go up here to my journals, right here, my journals, these are my kids. So if I go to Blake, he's got 5 different classes he's a member of. If I go back to my journal, I can go to Cole, and he is a member of 1 class here. So if I go to just 1 class or 1 child, then I can switch back and forth within the family app to my different kids. And this shows that it's Cole's work. Other kids worked on this. So this was an activity that other kids worked on it. So yeah, I would see their work, but this shows that it's Cole's. It was in the demo class, and it's also in the folder math activities here. So if I go back here to home, This will just show me the feed of all of the student work, or the children, my kids' work here. On the home, if I go to journals, this is where it shows, this tab shows me that I can switch back and forth and just see Blake's work from one particular class. So if I go to the demo class, all of the work in here is just from the demo class. If I want to switch to the pre-K class, I click on that class and I go, and it's got it separated out by the pre-K class. So there's a couple different ways how you can look at the children, you know, your child's work here on the family app. So again, sometimes it takes, you know, for some parents, they don't do this all the time. Maybe they haven't used technology much before. So sharing some information with them like this. And then we are also having some parent workshops, and we've got some parent resources out there as well that we can share with you. So that's the home and the journal tab. And then the last thing here is the inbox tab. And with the inbox tab, in order for them to send a message to you, you have to first send them a message. So if they want to send a message to you and you've never sent a message out to families or the students through the family app, then they will not be able to message you. So, and again, you know, you need to tell them that the message right down here in the bottom, I guess bottom left is this plus sign, but here it says this will only message the teacher. If I click on the plus sign here, they can even attach items here, but this is not where the kids will do their work. This is if they want to communicate directly to the teacher. Also with this inbox on the family app, here, some messages from the teacher, and then again, you know, they can put messages here and then hit send. Send isn't highlighted right now because they haven't typed something in. As soon as they type something in, then they can press send, and then it goes there, and they can see what they typed. Okay. So when the teacher messages them, it's here in the white. When they message the teacher back, it's got the blue background. So this is under messages here. And then if I come over here to the right-hand side for notifications, what the notifications are is you can get notified if you want of any time Blake's items are updated or if he was tagged in an item. So if you don't want to, you know, sometimes with these notifications, you can get emails or even push notifications. You can always turn those off and you'll still get them if you just know that if you go to the inbox here and go to notifications, you can see what, you know, what was updated, how long ago it was updated, or if he was tagged in an item here. So again, this is the family app, and you've got the home, journals, and inbox tabs here. And again, it's just, you know, anything new, it just takes time for them to use it, to explore with it, and to get used to it. But in the beginning, you may be repeating yourself a lot. Anybody out there have trouble with the family app, or any feedback from parents about the family app that you've seen or heard? As a teacher, do you like the family app? Do you use the family app? Do you send messages to your parents? Okay, so some great comments there in chat. Anita's comment said that, yeah, she wishes she could just send messages to specific groups of parents. Feel free to let Seesaw know that. I know that is a big ask by many teachers out there, and I foresee Seesaw adding that to that. If you've been using Seesaw for a while, you'll see that they do take our comments seriously, and they do make changes and update based off of teachers' comments and suggestions. So some of you said you haven't used the family side yet. So let me show you on the account settings from the teacher side of what you will need to do. So let me go into Seesaw here and show you how you will need to turn that on if you have not turned that setting on. Yeah, Carrie, I like your comment there that you can see that if they've seen the messages. Yeah, that's nice, so that they can't say, well, I didn't see your message, or I didn't know about something. Okay, so here on Seesaw, and feel free to keep communicating, chatting there in the chat, but if you go to the right-hand corner, so I'm in my pre-K class, and I go into the right-hand corner to the wrench. The wrench in Seesaw is the settings. Just like if you use Google, in Google, it's the gear is the settings. Well, Seesaw, very similar to Google as far as they've got different places that you can access settings. But one place, if you go up to the wrench, if I click on that and it brings up my settings right here, I can add families to here. So in this class, I only have one student. And as you can see, I've got 3 family members for Blake, and I've got 3 emails sent out. I can either enter an email or mobile number. And right here, it shows that these 2 are connected. This one, the invite, has been sent, but they haven't clicked on it. In this case, I haven't clicked on it to show you that I'm connected. So I haven't acknowledged that to connect to Blake's classroom. So if I go back up here to the wrench in the right-hand corner and I scroll down to families, what I would have to do here is enable family access. If I haven't done that yet, all you have to do is click on this button here and it will enable it. And then right from here, here's another spot you can invite families. If I click on invite families, it's what I got before by clicking on add families. So I can just keep on adding more family members right here. And then again, you can add family members by email or phone number. Another thing right here underneath invite families, I have manage families. And again, if I had more kids in here, I could see students with no connected families. Here it shows that Blake's family member, there's 2 people connected already. And then again, here's yet another spot. I can hit invite families. Okay, pending family approvals. So you can see there are no pending parent approvals. So in case if you did, I think someone said they sent out QR codes for the parents to scan to join the family app to join their classroom. Here's where your pending approvals will be. So this is where you'll need to look to approve the parents to be to get their child's work. And then also right here, the last setting here under families is the family likes, comments, and sharing. So right here, it's enable family sharing. And this enable family likes, this will allow the families to click on the heart to like their child's work. This will also enable families to write comments on their child's work. And then, do you want new comments that families put on there to require approval? Again, it's something you can turn on or off at any time. So if you want to turn it on at first and then you're seeing that's too much on your workload to approve all of the comments, you can just turn that off and then you won't have to approve the comments. The comments will go right there on the child's work. So let me switch back to the family view here. So if I go into, let me just go to the home and I'll see all of the work here. Do you see here on Blake's in this pre-K class, I can like this and I can put a comment here. And what's one nice thing with the comment, I can either type in a comment here or I can even as a parent do a voice recording of the comment. So right here, the parents can type in a comment or click on the microphone here to do the voice comment, very similar to what the kids do with their activities. And for their voice comment, they have a 2-minute limit, which is perfect here. And then when they're done, just hit pause. It's processing. They can replay it. They can delete it. So again, it's, you know, teaching the parents how to interact with this family app. And depending on what age of kids you work with, you could have the kids, their own children, teach their parents how to interact with this family app as well. So if they like it here, click on the green check, and then this is on Blake's, except I had pending approval on, so it's not there on Blake's yet until I approve it as the teacher. If I keep going down here, if I go to the demo class, if I turned off this like, I had it off at one time, that some parents may only see the comment section. That might be because you turned off the like. And remember, where you can change that is in the settings on the teacher side of it, enable family like. So if for some reason you haven't enabled that and you want to enable that, you can turn that on at any time or turn that off. And then so since I have new comments require approval, then if I come up here, I've got a 1 in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. I've got a 1 notification here by my name, and that shows that I've got to, let's see. That's the notification that I have a pending approval, but that wasn't that class. Let me. I guess it just shows up here on my journal feed right here, and it shows 1 unapproved post. I can hit review. And here, this is the comment by the parent. If I approve of this comment, then I can hit approve, and then it's then pushed out on the student's work then. So again, if you don't want to have to worry about approving all of the comments, you can turn that off in the settings. And again, if you go to the wrench in the upper right-hand corner and go down to families, and then it's the family likes, comments, and sharing. That's where you will just turn that off so you don't have to approve the comments. Any pros or cons about approving the comments, turning that on or off that anyone's ran into? Feel free to drop that in the chat. And same thing here with the families, and I'll go to the family side of it, that they've got account settings. Some families may hate that they're getting all of these emails from you every time something is posted in Seesaw. Let me switch back over to the family side of it. So again, if I'm up here in the upper left-hand corner, if I go to my name and then I go to the gear here, if I click on the gear, I can go to account settings. They also have account settings right here that I could go there as well. Again, the more you work with different technology apps, you'll find that there's multiple places that you'll find the same thing. Because another thing right here, add a child's journal. Here's another spot they can add the child's journal. So just like one of the teachers said that they printed off QR codes or links for the parents, this is where the parents would put that in to access their child's journal. So going back here then to account settings, right here, just like you do on the teacher side of it, the parent notifications right here. So if they don't want email notifications, they can come over here and click never. If they want it once per day, or they want to be notified and get an email for everything, for every comment, or every activity that's pushed out or message, you can put all here. But I'll keep it to never. Push notifications. Again, if they want, that notification that you have pushed out an announcement or a message, they can again put all once per day. So I'll change that to all. If they want the SMS notifications, if you have their mobile number in here, you can turn that on so that they get notified. A short message service notification here, that they will get a text message. Usually those text messages aren't, they are 160 characters or less. Again, within the account settings for the family, here's where they can remove children. They can download the journal archives of their child. So they also have some settings right here in the upper left-hand corner, and the gear or account settings. Also, if they go to the gear, they can contact Seesaw support. They can learn about privacy of Seesaw, so they can take a look at that. All right, moving on then. Unless if anybody wants to unmute or have anything else to say about the family app. We'll move on then to folders. And I was trying to read chat here, but I'll try to move my attention away from chat for a second here. So here on slide 25, some folder tips here. So here's a screenshot of one of my classes that I've got. I put emojis in front of the title. You can also, if you want, a certain folder to come to the top, to be at the top, you could put a period right before the name, and it would rise to the top of the folder list. If you're wanting to know about emojis, so there's an emoji keyboard extensions. I put a link in here of different keyboard extensions out there. I don't know about all of them. There's lots out there. I went ahead and put the link in of the one I use. It's just called the emoji, maybe keyboard extension. And I'll show you here in a minute how that works. Another thing I added here on my folders is I created a folder for conferences. So if you meet with the parents, and it might be virtual this year, that you can have the parents go to that conference folder and look at all of the work that you want to talk about, or their child wants to talk about during the conference. You can also create a folder, you've got the naming rights to how you name these, but like best of third grade or best of second grade. Kids could put in this folder some of the assignments or activities that they're most proud of. You could also, depending on how you share out your activities with your students, you could also create a daily folder. And if you create a folder each day and just house the activities that you want the kids to do for that day, that's another way to arrange these folders. What some school districts are doing, they are having their teachers create a folder within their classroom for their specials. So if their students all go to the same art teacher, music teacher, or PE teacher, they created a folder for that subject within there, and so then the kids know to go to access that folder for their music activities or their PE activities. Do they have to do that? No. Another way school districts are doing this is just having the art teacher create their own Seesaw classroom, because it is fairly easy for kids to go back and forth between the different Seesaw classes that they have. Now, another thing you see on here is for if you are a Seesaw Plus member or Seesaw for Schools member, they also have, so in the paid version, they have this private teacher folder. You can put items in here. Again, this is only items the teachers will see, no one else will see. So, and don't panic if you've got the Seesaw for free version, you know, that will do as well. But, you know, of course, Seesaw needs to make money. And so they've got some different items out there that they put only in the paid version. So let me switch over here to my Seesaw account and go into a class here. So if I want to go into folders, there's a few different ways you can start creating folders. If I go up here to the wrench in the upper right-hand corner, here's where I can manage folders. So go down to the folders settings here and manage folders. Here's where I can create folders. So if I want to, I can create a folder here. If I want to name this PE. And if I want, oh, let me use my emoji keyboard. So let me go up here to my extension, the emoji extension. And if I want to find an extension here, so here's, I went to sports. I'll go ahead and click on the tennis ball here. And when I click on that, it just puts it right there in the folder. And then I can come over here and put PE. I can add a color to it and then click on the green check. So once I've done that, then I've got a new folder here, PE. So I can start putting items in there. Now, another way I can add folders is if I'm a couple different ways. If I go over here to add and assign an activity. So let's say I want to assign this choice board template to my class. I go ahead and hit assign. I'm going to click on my demo class here. And if I want, I can schedule it out. If I want it to have the students have this tomorrow and I don't want them to have it early, I could schedule it out for a date and time, or I can go ahead and assign it to one class. But before I assign it to this class, what I can do, if I click on this right here to the right-hand side, edit students, folders, and skills. If I click on that right there, this is where I can differentiate what students do I want to have this assignment. I want all of the students to have it right now. What folders do I want to put it in? So for this one, let's say it is, I want it in my conference folder, and let's say it's a science activity. So I can put it in multiple folders. Let's say I want to put it in another folder, but it's not here. I can create a folder right from here as well. If I click on create folder, and again, put a name here, I can go up to my emoji extension on my extension bar up here at the top of my screen to the right, and I can add that in again, choose the color, and then click the check mark there. And I can add another folder right from here. I don't have to be in my settings, so I can add a folder as I'm assigning an activity. And then if I'm done, all I have to do is click the green check, and then now I can assign the class, assign it to this class. And then I'll go here and look at the activity. So right here, it shows that I've assigned it to this class, and it's in the folder Science and Conference. So if I click on this three dots here, and I go to Edit Activity, I can, even though after I've assigned it out there, I can still go in, if I come to the bottom of the screen and go to More Options, and then scroll down, it shows me folders, it's in Science and Conference. I can still go there and edit that and add it or take it away from a certain folder. So at any time when you assign these folders, it's not a done deal. You can always go back and change or add what folder these activities are under. So as you can see, multiple ways to add the folders, multiple ways to add activities to the folders. So don't panic. Since I have this in there already, let me go ahead and delete this one of these activities here. And again, looking at this screen, this is the activity screen for my demo class here. What I like about this also, when I assign the activities out there, it shows me how many kids, I have 0 responses, how many is waiting for approval, how many drafts. That means how many kids who have started it but maybe not finished it but saved it as a draft, and then how many who hasn't responded. So again, this is a quick overview that, you know, whether you are remote or in person with your students, you can see, you know, how they're doing. If you look down here about my polar bear activity, I've got 1 draft. So if I click on this, activity, I can see which student here has a draft out there, and I can see what they've started working on. If I see that they haven't gotten much done, maybe they're having trouble and they haven't reached out for help, I don't have to wait for them or wait for the due date that they haven't turned it in. I can go ahead and take a look at that, the draft here, and see how I can help them troubleshoot the assignment. So again, this is a nice feature here that you can see, you know, what students are working on it and what they may be having trouble with. And that is just by clicking on the activity, and then it shows 1 draft there, and it pulls it up here. So going back here to the slide deck then, so we just talked about folders and some folder tips out there for you. Here on the next slide, if that conference folder is new to you, you can go here, click on this link here on slide 26, using Seesaw for conferences. You can take a look at that and get, you know, even more ideas. And then another thing here, you can even teach kids how to add different activities to folders, because they may want it, you know, to add it to their best of 3rd grade folder or their conference folder, that because they're most proud of that work. So in order to do that, again, in Seesaw, what you are going to need to do in the right-hand corner, go to the wrench. And with the wrench here, if I go to folders where it says show add to folder step, do I want to allow students to be able to add to folder? If I do, I will want to make sure I enable that step here in this setting. Again, it was the wrench in the upper right-hand corner here. And if I scroll down and go to folders, here's where I can do that. If I don't want students to have the ability to add to folders, then I take the students off and I just enable it for the teachers. Or if I don't want the teachers to do that, I just put never. So if I switch over here then to Blake's class, we're in the demo class here. And if he goes into his journal, right here, this is his response to the Scrabble spelling. If I come down here to the folder, so this is the student view in the journal, then he can put this in the conference. If he wants to talk about this at conference and show his parents, he can go ahead and that will add it to the conference. He doesn't have to wait for the teacher to add it to a certain folder. All right, so I just talked about the settings there. Oh, another thing that I want to talk about is skills. If you do have the paid version of Seesaw, you will have the ability to add skills in here. And skills we usually think of, you know, tied to standards. Well, another thing how you can incorporate skills is you can put skills in by weeks to track who does what. I don't know about you. I don't know if you're having trouble of tracking what students are turning in assignments and what students aren't. Right here, I just took a snippet of my screen. Here, the week of September 14th, right here, I've got Bethany turned in 1 assignment, Blake turned in 2, and this person here turned in 1. So it kind of gives me a snapshot of who's turned in what and who hasn't. So I can go to Amy and say, oh, Amy hasn't turned in, oops, sorry. Amy hasn't turned in any assignment. So that will lead me to having a conversation with Amy. So again, if you haven't used Skills or you're new to Skills, it is on the paid version. And what I did with Skills, same thing, you can tag it right in the beginning when you are creating the activity. And if not, if you come over here to the tab that's Skills to the right of the screen, I can see what skill I have in here. I just have the week of September 14th in here, and I created that. So how did I create that? I can come down here to the plus sign and go to the plus skills. And what I did, I just put the week of, so next week is, what is next? So the 21st, so week of, I just put September 21st, and then quick code, I can just put the date like that, and then I've added a new skill. So then each week, I can see what they turned it in. What I've got to do is I've got to make sure I tag my assignments to that week. So again, if I go back to my, if I go back to my activities, and so this activity right here, I'll go here to edit activity, and I want to tag this to a certain skill. Then I come down here to more options at the bottom of the screen, and I go where it says skills, where it says none, I go to edit, and I can tag it. So let's say that I want this completed by next week. So I will add it to that week and just click on the check mark. So then it's added to a skill. Now, can I add several skills? So if I do have the paid version of Seesaw and I've got standards or other skills, I can have it go under multiple skills. So don't panic that that'll mess up your other skills. Did I save that? No, I guess I didn't save that. So besides hitting the check mark, then I have to come down here in the bottom right and hit save. And then it's tagged to the skill. And then so it shows you what skill it's tagged to then. All right, I'm looking at the time. This hour is flying by. So are there any questions about folders, about the family app? I know people are chatting and I haven't been able to look at the chat much right now. I'm just seeing the very last question there. Anita, yes, if you've got the paid version, there is a way whoever's your Seesaw admin person, they can upload the skills for you. That will save you a ton of work. The only skills that I've added were the ones that say week of. That was just my workaround to help me kind of monitor what students have been turning in and just seeing what students are doing the work, what students who might not be doing the work. Christine, do you want to ask your question again? I'm not for sure what it's referencing. As she's typing away there, let me talk about feedback real quick. One thing, again, I don't know about you if you're having any problems managing all of the activities and the work. Here are some questions you might want to ask yourself and maybe, come up with a plan so that you don't feel overwhelmed about all of these different activities coming in and for you to approve them or put comments on it. So if I look right here on slide 33, there's a couple different ways to do feedback for students. If I click the three dots in the lower right-hand corner of any activity that they've turned in, what I can do, I can edit the item. And what's nice about this then, I can type a message, but I don't know about your students, but sometimes whenever I would take time to type a message, my students wouldn't always read it. Now, my students were of age that they could read, or, most of them could. They were middle school students. But in case if I have students who do have trouble reading or are reluctant readers, what I could do is leave a video or voice recording. And what research is showing is the kids are more apt to listen to that than maybe read a message here. So you could, again, leave a message that way. You could also give feedback to students by using other tools built into Seesaw, like the labels or highlighter, to point out things, whether you like some of the work or, hey, I see that you might have had trouble with something, and can maybe reach out to help them. And then once you're done editing their item, you'll want to click draft to send this back to students. So then they will get notified in their inbox under notifications that an item and activity was updated, so then they could go and take a look at your message. But again, it's taking time to teach the kids that. So if I go into my Seesaw class and I go into, let me go into this one here. So if I look at Blake's, what I did, so Blake started working on this, he turned it in. Here, this was Blake's message right here. Again, it shows who it's seen by. And then right down here, I added a video recording of myself with a message explaining, hey, great work, you've got a great start, but can you go ahead and finish this activity? So then what I did, then I clicked on draft, so it would go back to Blake for him to get notified that I've sent him a message. So then he can play that message and then hopefully redo his assignment and then turn it back in. Another, option with that, if I go back, so let me go into the journal and show you here. So if I come down here to, let me change classes. So on this assignment here, Blake is telling me what he's most proud of. So what I could do, click on these three dots here, and I can go in and edit this post. And here at editing the post, I don't want to change anything he has on here. But if I want to, I can come over here and I can do a voice recording. To start a voice recording, I can put a link in here, put shapes in here. If I need to use the a marker or a pen, I could highlight something if I want to show them, hey, I like this too. So I've got all of these options here. Here's where I can click on the camera, click on video, put a video in here of me telling him what he can improve on, or ask him if he has questions. I can send him a message here. And then when I'm done sending the message, then if I come up here to the right-hand corner and click draft, then he will get a notification in his inbox that, hey, the teacher, this activity has been edited. So if I go back to Blake's, then he should get, let me go to pre-K class. He should get a notification then here in the inbox. Then right here in the notifications, your teacher added a voice comment on your post. This was one I did earlier, 26 minutes ago. So there may take a little bit of time to add that. But you know what? I don't think I ended up adding a voice comment here on the one I just showed you. But this is what they will get. So again, it's worth taking time to teach the students with notifications. Again, this isn't overnight. This will, take time. Even though you're teaching this and showing them this here now, or you might have showed them this 4 weeks ago, could they still forget? They do. But just, show them again, or have, other students in your class, if you are face-to-face for some part of the day, that they can help out to help other students. If not, you could even have other students help when you are, on your Google Meet or Zoom meeting or video conferencing, whichever app you're using to do video conferences with your students. The other thing about feedback, not only for you as a teacher, but sometimes even sharing with parents about feedback that they could give. There's other teachers out there using this tag technique. If you're using it, feel free to drop it in chat what you like about it, or a different technique that you like. It's just, instead of the parents saying, this is what they like, or, oh, I like your assignment or whatever, tell them, a specific thing, or ask a question, or give a suggestion, or they could do all three as well. And so this is for feedback here. Let me quickly jump down here to slide 39. Here's some other resources that I have. I also linked to this bit.ly by Chris, his activities. He's got a lot of choice boards out there that you can use for free, that you don't have to pay or pay for anything on Teachers Pay Teachers. So again, yeah, Teachers Pay Teachers is great, but I just want to let you know there's a lot of free activities out there that you can use within Seesaw as well. I know I haven't got the choice boards. I threw that in there. If I have time, I will talk about this as well. I didn't know with the hour long how, if I would need more stuff. It's just like in your classroom, you've got more lessons prepared than you might get to throughout the day. Looking at the chat here, can you post a Seesaw assignment in Google Classroom? Most definitely, yes. With me teaching middle school students, I loved using Google Classroom and putting a link for Seesaw in there. So then when they click on that, then it takes them to the Seesaw platform. So all they would have to do is, if you're familiar with Google Classroom, just get the link from Seesaw and then put that link in Google Classroom. If you want to stay on after, I can show you how to do that as well. Couple things here on choice boards. When you're adding videos, this is what I found. And feel free, if someone else has a better way of doing this, let me know. What I find is sometimes when you put videos into Seesaw, they play ads when the kids click on them. What I have found, if I put the videos in a Google slide and add, go up here to the upper right-hand corner and go to share and get the link, and then I put that link in my Seesaw class, then the ads won't play. But here, the videos will have to be from YouTube to put them in Google Slides. So that was the workaround for that. I know not all of the videos out there that you use are from YouTube, but this kind of walks you through how to do that. Another thing here, here's what some teachers are using. Some of these are apps that teachers are using to make videos safe, but I will tell you, I think one of these was just hacked. Was it last week? So again, in some of these apps out there, there's a free version and a paid version. So I just, again, if I can't do it within the free version, I try to find a workaround, but feel free to look at that for some examples. And then here, when you do put a choice board in a Seesaw activity, I put it in the example slot where it tells me to add multimedia. So then if I want to still add a template down here, I can still add a template for the students to respond on. So real quick, if I show you a choice board here that I created, I'll show you the difference. And I do want to respect your time. I know it's 3:30, so if you need to go, feel free to go. This will be recorded and it will, I'll send it to the ROE 17, and usually they send it out to you all. Let me switch to my demo class here and I'll show you this choice board. That was my demo class. Oh, I know, I'm not looking in activities. So see, even I forget to sometimes click the different tabs over here. So on this assignment here, I created this choice board. And So I've got some different links in here for the kids to go that I want them to, look at. What I did, I went ahead and threw in a different video. So me as a teacher, if I click on this video, when I play this video, here I get the option to skip ads. It takes me right to YouTube. Now, if I'm the student, so let me go to Blake's real quick. So let me change it to the demo class. So if he is completing this assignment and he needs to look at these links, so if he clicks on this, this will take him right here to YouTube. And then, not until 5 seconds will he have the ability to skip that ad. So then what I did, since that was a YouTube video, a couple different workarounds I found. I could just put a video right within another page of my activity, or what I did, I created a slide and I added it in. So what I did, I created a Google slide and then I shared that link here. So then when the kids go and take a look at the San Diego Zoo animals, if they click on this, it will open up the Google Slides. I shared it with them, and then they should be able to open up and watch the video without the ads. And the reason behind that is because I put the YouTube video in Google Slides. And then I went up here and shared the link then to my choice board. So I know that was a lot of steps. If you're a newbie, you'll have the recording, you'll have this slide deck to go back over it. And I've got time that I can take questions as well. So I will go ahead and stop the recording here so that people feel free and maybe more comfortable to ask questions.